Welcome to my little house.
What are you doing?
Bless you.
Hey Spuds, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. It's Jamie and today I am joined by the most beautiful...
Aww.
That's not your name.
I was just saying it was a lovely adjective.
The most beautiful... Aww. Okay, so, how are you doing?
That's not even funny. I was waiting to say hi. Introduce me.
This is my fiance, Shama.
Hi.
We have been together for a little over 8 years now.
We have.
And something that gets asked very frequently on this channel, both of our channels, both of our Instagrams, blah, 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 is 1, do we want kids together?
2,
The answer is yes.
How do we have sex?
That's not what this video is about.
You're talking about common questions.
Do you know what? We're going to start this again.
Okay.
The questions we very commonly get asked that relate to this video is 1, do we want to have kids together?
Yes, that is a question.
Yes.
It's common.
And yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
2, how would we have those kids? And it's the how that we are going to talk about in today's video.
Oh my god, that was such a good introduction.
You're acting like a proud parent. No!
It's just a little something on your nose.
Is there a note? Is it a hair?
No.
Ow!
So, yes, how do we have kids? We both want kids.
Well, how can we have kids?
10 kids.
If you want 10 kids, you're on your own.
I absolutely don't want 10 kids.
We want 2 kids.
We do.
I think we both have a preference to have daughters, but like, to be honest, any kids would be wonderful.
I'm really sorry, there's a piece of fluff or something and it's like in my... I see it.
Why am I so irritating to you today?
Sorry.
My nose,
No.
my beard,
It's
my
fine.
fluff-covered face.
I'm sorry, I'm in it. Get your head in the game, Troy.
I thought you were called So for a little bit of background, for those of you who don't know, the reason why how we can have kids is a discussion is because I am transgender. So I was assigned female at birth, meaning for all intents and purposes, I was born biologically female. Let's just put it that way. It's a way that I'm comfortable with saying it. And Shaba is a cisgender woman, meaning...
I was born female and still identify as female. It's not changed.
Yeah.
Like most of the population.
Yeah, whereas I am male despite my birth sex. That means that conventionally, having babies together is not really the same as it would be for most heterosexual couples. Well, it's not the same. But the way we think about it is we're going through the same processes that a heterosexual couple where one or both of them are infertile would be going through.
Also, maybe worth adding, don't know if you want to keep it in, I have PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, which also means that my fertility is questionable.
Yeah, I have silicone balls. That's why mine is questionable. Questionable. I'm on fire today. Not in a good way. Okay, this is not like a video to say, oh, actually, yes, we're planning on having babies within the next year.
PSA.
It's going to be like the next 4 to 6 years before
Yeah.
we have kids.
Don't hold your breath. Yeah, we will of course let you know, and we would love to document that journey if it can help other people in a similar position as much as possible.
No, we absolutely have plans on documenting the how and how we go about it and the having a baby thing. We have talked about the options that there are available to us. So as a quick rundown, there's roughly 5 options. Yeah.
Wait. What? I know 4. Okay, go on.
I
Run
had
through them
5.
with me. No, that's great. Go for it.
Number 1, adoption.
Yes.
Number 2,
In vitro fertilization. Sperm donor.
sperm donor. Number 3, 3-person babies. Number 4,
IVG.
using IVG, which essentially means using
I'm going to deep dive later.
labour. Are you
I've got it on
thinking
the
about
brain.
babies or
I'm gonna deep
politics?
dive later.
IVG, which we'll get into later, and then the other one is kind of an overlap, but it would be the sperm donor option, but where we are biologically related to 1 child each.
Right, okay, I see where you're going with
Yeah.
that. Alright, in which case, move my 2, these ones, down.
That's
and
how
switch
it was.
Okay.
That was my order, and you
I
changed
didn't
it.
realise this was a 5. I thought this was with this
Well,
one
it's
as the
because,
2.
Shaba, you didn't let me finish talking.
Alright, well really, technically there's 4 because it's like 1, 2A, 2B, 3,
Or
4.
not to be. Going down the list.
Yeah.
First option, adoption.
That right.
That right. This is something that we have already talked about, and it's definitely an option that we plan on doing, but with an older child and when our other children are older as well. And we would want to adopt a child who maybe otherwise would remain in the system.
Even
because,
before I met Jamie, that was something that I was I always knew that I wanted to do. So
Yeah.
it's not just because we're together.
Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, why are you exploring so many different options to have biological kids when there are so many kids out there who need homes? We have a plan to give a home to a kid who needs one.
At least one. But also, I just want to say, like, I do kind of think that that's someone's personal choice. Yes, that's a valid point, and there are many kids out there in the world.
Yeah.
But some people want to have that ability to go through it themselves from...
If they can, yeah.
You know? And that's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to want to explore that. You shouldn't be penalised or judged for wanting biological kids of your own.
So the second option is sperm donors. And there can be different types of sperm donors. So you can have anonymous sperm donors.
So essentially, you don't know who the person providing the sperm is, but they give you a profile of characteristics. So you choose based on things like height, hair colour, race, their medical background.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think they also include things like profession and like...
And hobbies.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Not that those things transfer over, but I guess it just provides a well-rounded profile.
Yeah, or you could use a trusted friend. Some people do that. I think it can be a bit of a tricky option unless they are a very trusted friend, but that is an option. And another option that I've seen other trans people do is a family member. So I have seen trans men, like myself, have their brothers be sperm donors with their cisgender female partner. That is not something we are discussing. The only type of sperm donation we will be talking about is anonymous.
Yes. However, it is probably good to note, because we're not just making this video to let you know about us. It's useful for other
options
people who,
general.
you know, might be thinking about having kids and who may not be able to have biological kids of their own. One of the benefits for doing it through siblings in that way is that the kid, you're probably better at explaining the genetics.
I would be biologically the uncle to the children I'm raising as like my children, so there would be a biological relation.
Would technically be
the biological dad.
Father.
Yeah, and I think when that comes up, it makes other people who aren't aware of the process a bit freaked out, because they think incest.
And I'm not going to lie, that's definitely what I thought the first time.
But it's not, because it would obviously be with Shaba, not with me, because that would just not be right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just to clarify, that's why using a family member as a donor is a suggestion. It wouldn't actually be with your DNA, it would be with your partner's.
So it's not ancestral.
Now, that's option number 3, that is kind of option number 2B, because it goes hand in hand with sperm donation, because you would use sperm donation in this option as well, is to use one egg from one partner and another egg from another partner.
We would have 2 kids. I would carry both. One would come from my egg, one would come from your egg, but they would share the same sperm donor. So they're related to each other.
Yeah, they're half siblings.
One is related to one of us.
Yes.
And I birth both.
Yeah, that is not an option we're looking into. It's just one I wanted to discuss because it's something I've heard of other people doing. I think the worry that we had with that is, one, I don't really want to go through the processes of having to have things extracted. I'd have to come off testosterone for a long time.
Did you say processes?
Processes, yeah.
Is that a word?
I don't know. It just came out.
Processes. What?
I'm not sure if it's something I could personally go through, because I opted to not freeze my eggs before I started testosterone. That's also an important thing to note, is that there's a myth that testosterone will automatically make people infertile. But actually, if you have no prior fertility issues to starting testosterone, there's a good chance that once you're on testosterone, if you come off it for a bit, you will be fertile, and you won't have children.
From what we've heard, obviously you've not gone through it.
Quite a brutal process.
It is a hugely brutal process.
Yeah.
It makes people quite dysphoric. One of our friends, Noah, actually did a really insightful video on it, which you're welcome to take a look at.
And I think another concern from both of us, and although it would be entirely subconscious and there would be no plans, it would just be that kind of like hypothetical worry that you might have a closer bond with the child that's biologically related to you and not the one that's biologically related to your partner. And for us, there's also an issue of like race as well.
If we used a brown sperm donor, the child that I have with them, it will likely be very brown, and then not your child, but the one with your egg, the sperm donor would be mixed race. Or if we used a white one, yours would be very white and mine would be mixed race. Or if we had it both where they were both mixed race, they'd have different dads and therefore wouldn't technically be biologically related to each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of the dynamic of families that are maybe seen as like non-conventional and things like that, I think that any family is good do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying any way is wrong.
Oh yeah.
But it's all about how, like, the child is raised. Like, we've seen some great examples of adoption and step parenting, but then some not so great examples. I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it's within your control that it works out, and sometimes it's not. So I think there's the concern to, like, just completely minimise any animosity or strained relationships that could develop from where children come from.
Yeah, and I think it's super important to know, as you said, just because something's non-traditional, a family setup, doesn't at all mean that it's wrong. And we are super open-minded. Just because other people might consider ones like the method we just mentioned, doesn't mean that we're against it. It's just not the right thing for us.
I actually think it's a really good option.
I'm going to sneeze, I'm sorry. So.
Cavities.
Okay,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Just because in this video we're saying something isn't an option for us doesn't mean we think it's a bad option. It's just something that we've discussed and decided it wouldn't work best for us.
Something else that I'd quite like to disclaim in this video, because I think it just provides a better context, is sort of my upbringing versus your upbringing. Jamie, not you personally, but your close family members have experienced adoption, and it's gone incredibly well. Whereas I've experienced broken families, both with, like, me personally and within my family, and I've had very negative experiences. And whilst I completely understand and appreciate what you say, it's still something that I guess I'm scared of, which is why I'm sort of most excited about the two things that we haven't spoken about yet.
It's going to get sciencey.
It is. Get your science hats on. All I'm saying is I would rather, based on my own experiences, have kids that are biologically our own.
And I think something else that's important to disclaim in all of this is that we have the full intent of our children knowing where they come from, wherever they end up coming from. If they're adopted, if it's a sperm donor, they will know where they've come from, and they will know that I'm transgender. It's just something that I feel very strongly about. I do not want... Like, it's something that children will find out along the way. I'm so open about it online. Yeah, like, there's photos of me as a child where I'm clearly not presenting as male.
And I completely 100% agree, just for the record. But if other people want to do different things, again, it's a personal decision.
Yeah, this is completely personal. This is just what we're going to do. Now, it's time to get sciencey with options 4 and 5. All kitten, get down because you're going to knock the microphone.
If you heard some rustling, it was Polo brushing his body up against the mic.
You going to say hi?
No, he looks so grumpy. Don't worry. It's because we're talking about other babies. You're still a baby boo-boo.
You're still our first little baby. Option number 4 is something called the 3-person baby. Shaba, take it away.
You want me to do the explanations?
Yeah, you're better at this bit.
Before we do the explanations, keep an open mind. That's the most important thing. And listen all the way through. That's the important thing.
That was an open mind.
I love it. We should do that to the next racist or transphobe we come across.
Kind of looks like you're about to sing Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut. Kentucky Fried Chicken and a pizza.
3-person babies is a relatively new scientific advancement that's happened. Very. Too new? You say very, as if it's like... It's been in the making for like 5 years.
No.
And there are licenses to practice it here in the UK, but it's under certain circumstances in the minute. God, try and say that 3 times quickly.
It's under certain circumstances, certain circumstances, certain circumstances.
All right.
Okay.
And right now, that circumstance is if you have a medical... genetic
a mitochondrial
issue,
disease.
Yes, that
can
passed
genetically
on,
be passed on.
Would like almost certainly affect your baby's
negatively affect the baby's
life. Yeah. So 3-person babies is as follows: you have an egg and a sperm. I like this. These are my okay. Normally there is an egg and one sperm, and the sperm boop, goes into the egg, becomes a baby. I love this. Can you do my sound effect?
Okay.
On the occasion of a 3-person baby, there's a third party and a second egg
ding,
that's
ding,
introduced.
ding.
You need to become the egg because I only have 2 hands.
I'm egg.
Be my egg right here. Right. So imagine this is me and a cisgender male, okay? And this is Jamie's egg.
Hello.
What they can do, because science is crazy, scarily advanced, is scoop the DNA out of the egg, the bit of the egg that has the issue, scoop it out of the egg, take the bit that's missing of this egg from this egg, and stick it into this egg. Ding! So this egg is made up of 2 bits of eggs, right? Like 2 people's eggs. So this egg is now representative of 2 people. A tiny bit of this DNA, because it was this tiny bit that was added to stop that mitochondrial disease, and the majority of my egg. Then the sperm will then fertilise this one, and a baby would be born that would technically contain the DNA of 3 people. Hence 3-person baby. So, theory, not that this has been done, at least publicly, for the world to know about yet. Come back, egg. instead of being scooped out and helping the egg, what they're saying could be done is they scoop out the DNA contained in the sperm. So essentially, the sperm, call him Bob, is just a little boat. It's a sperm boat. And inside the sperm boat is the DNA from Jamie's egg.
Ding! Oh, no, I keep doing that.
No, I'm taking it out. There we go. And it goes into the sperm.
Ding!
And then creates the baby.
Kaboom!
Which is a new 3-person child.
Yeah.
So in this way, it would still have a tiny portion of DNA from Bob, the additional third party whose sperm boat it was, because it is Bob's sperm boat. But the majority of the DNA would come from my egg and Jamie's egg that was inserted into the sperm boat.
So that's 3-person babies.
I hope that makes sense.
It's complicated, and I don't think it's fully there in terms of the science and the ethics for it to be used in a situation like ours, but it's just something that's worth throwing out there because these are all things that they think are gonna be possible. I think there was something about it being possible by 2040. Things like this concept and like the one we're about to talk about next, which is called...
Oh gosh.
In vitro
gametogenesis.
La la la. IVG.
Oh, IVG for sure. IVF, IVG. And can I also note, for those of you out there, because there will be some people going, oh my god, science is scary, this shouldn't be allowed to be done, it could create a superior race. You are right, there are times where it can be taken crazy. I just want to remind you that for a very long time, IVF was treated in the exact same way. When it first came out in the 70s, I want to say?
Yeah, like the first baby was born about 40 years ago now.
It was considered evil and horrible, and everyone wanted to shut it down, and it took like 40 years for the researchers to be gained scientific recognition with like a Nobel Prize. But it's now very common practice. So yes, it is scary. New things are scary. Change is scary, but it is also exciting because it means it's providing opportunities like it is right now already.
IVG.
Option number 5.
It's in the very basic form. They would take Shaba's egg and they would take cells from me, like skin cells or something that like
this.
They can turn body cells into sperm cells.
It is based off of stem cell research. So for those of you who don't know, stem cell research is where they take a cell from anywhere. They actually say it'd be from the inside of a cheek, most likely, or from the bone marrow. That's how things have been done. Just so you know.
Okay.
A nasty injection, but it's fine. But they would take those cells, and there is a way, because again, science is amazing,
to Benjamin Button them.
Basically, Benjamin Button the cell. They reverse the cell so it becomes essentially in an embryonic state. So it becomes a baby cell, right? Not a cell to make a baby, just a really, really young cell that hasn't quite formed its purpose yet.
Yeah.
And then they take those embryonic cells and they put them next to fully functioning sperm cells, right? And then the little embryonic cells go, ooh, that's what I should be. And then they grow.
I like that you did this.
Sperm cells. Yeah. How insane is that?
So it would
they take a cell, they make it tiny and young, and make it grow into something new. This is just
so it would mean there was sperm that carried my DNA that could then fertilise Shaba.
And then it becomes, so it's all Jamie's DNA that then becomes a sperm cell. But that is so crazy cool.
Maybe this goes without saying, that is our favourite option. That's kind of the one that we are hopeful for.
Well, it means that any two people, regardless of sex or gender identity, would be able to have a baby.
There have been reports that this option could be like up and running and fully functional in the next 5 years. And if it is done within the next 5 years, that does mean it will be a genuine option for us.
Another thing to mention is that this option has also already been done successfully in mice, and that those mice have been able to reproduce, and the babies from that, the grandchildren have been fertile and are able to reproduce themselves, which is a fantastic sign.
I think overall for us, the plan will be hopefully option 5, and IVG will be something we can do in the future.
It's definitely something we'd be open to if it's available during our reasonable baby having time.
If it's not, I think our next option would be to look into sperm donors, anonymous sperm donors, and then whatever we do, we will be adopting later in life a little bit.
For sure.
So yeah, that's kind of like a rundown of the options that we currently know are available and our kind of feelings on them. Again, we don't think that any are like better than the other generally, but just there are some that we prefer for our relationship and our future. But you can disagree with that and it's totally fine. We're not saying anything is wrong. So yeah, just in summary, if you have anything else you would like to add, leave it down in the comments. If you know anything more about the options we've discussed, feel free to add that information. If you know of any other options that we have not included, please leave them down below. Let's all share our knowledge together.
In a respectful and happy and safe space.
Exactly.
There was another option that we haven't explored. I'm just going to say it really briefly because it's quite simple. You could carry the baby.
Yes. And
You didn't think of it as an option.
That's an
because it's not
option that we
something you
didn't think
absolutely
about
want.
because it's something I would never do. But yes, I could carry the child and the children could all come biologically from me, from a sperm donor, and not from
me.
childbirth.
And
Yeah.
there are many I wouldn't say many, but a number of trans people who have already done that.
Yeah, that is an option. It's just something I haven't thought about because I wouldn't do it. Yeah, but no, fair point. That is an option.
6.
There you go, number 6. Sorry if you've already typed out some like long comment about how that's an option.
Oh, drat.
Oh no, there's going to be loads of like ... edit, you just said it, damn it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would definitely recommend going and checking out Shaba's channel, especially because she's planning on doing a deep dive into IVG as a concept.
IVG video essay for tomorrow on the day that you're watching this. It'll be out Thursday.
Yeah, so definitely go subscribe, check out Shaba's channel. Yeah.
Also, give this video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the wonderful Jamie, because
No
as
pressure.
you can tell, he makes fantastic videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And
if
some
you
of
want
them
to.
include me. Sorry, that sounds so big-headed. I
They're
try
the
to say it
bad
as
ones.
a joke, but I even cringed at the idea of it myself.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, no, I said that the wrong way around.
What's this for?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.
Bye.